What's up everybody, Droidattic here with the video review of the ROM Codename Android. A lot of you were left scrambling whenever Droid Theory bowed out of the ROM making game, and a lot of you jumped on this as well as I did, and just going to kind of go over what the ROM is all about and just kind of show you some of the cool things that you can do with it, because a lot of people are asking, you know, what are the pros and cons of different ROMs, and so I'm going to try to do a series of these just showing off different ROMs, different features, kind of giving some feedback on all of them. So all in all, the ROM is pretty smooth. There are a couple things that are a little bit laggy here and there. We'll go over that a little bit in the cons section, but let's jump into the pros section right off the bat. So one thing that you do have is a lot of customization in this ROM. So you'll notice that Codename Android actually baked in a lot of the things that you can do right into the settings. So for example, we can jump right into the settings toolbox here. And one thing that I really like is that you can kind of change the clock style. So you'll notice mine is in the middle here instead of over to the far right. You can actually do that right on the fly instead of having to wait for the phone to reboot or flash in a different file through ROM Manager or anything like that. You can just change it and it'll instantly change over. You can actually add in the AM PM styles, different things like that. One thing that I don't know if it's just me being dumb or if it's something that's maybe broken in the ROM, I'm not really sure. But whenever I go to change the clock color, so I'll click set and then I back out, it's not changing the clock. You'll notice it's still blue. So I don't know if that's just being me. Maybe somebody dropped me in the comments or rag on me later about it. I don't know. But that's one thing that I couldn't get to stick. You can also change the battery widget style to have the battery bar, which you'll have to uncheck the battery percentage and then check the battery bar, which is kind of like the MyUI ROM, where you have the battery kind of going across the top there in a nice bar style. I tend to stick to percentages. Excuse me. Another thing is that whenever I would go change the battery bar color, it wouldn't change up there either. So, like again, I don't know if that's just me or the ROM. I'm not really sure what's up with that. Also, the notification widget, you can change a lot of settings in here. Kind of changing different toggles just for quick, easy access up there in the top. Excuse me. One thing that kind of freaked me out a little bit whenever I first started playing around with the ROM was the lock screen settings. There's a lot of different settings that you can have for different targets for specific applications, which is really cool to use, but whenever I changed some of them, the phone kind of freaked out on me. I don't know if that was just me being really quick to flash the ROM and not rebooting or flashing the G apps properly. I'm not really sure what it was about, but I ended up having to format the ROM and then flash it again, and I've just been too scared to mess around with any of these things since then, so I just kind of let them be. You can also go into the miscellaneous box here, kind of change your custom carrier label. I like to keep it Verizon Wireless. I don't really get into all that. And also you can change the CRT off animation whenever you click the power button. So a lot of different customizations just in this one little settings bracket. But you can also go into Launcher and you can change how many home screens you have, which one's your default screen, having the search bar always at the top, transition effects, which is really cool. So you can have like your standard. I've got it set to tablet right now, so you can kind of see it. And see, this is one of the lag things I was telling you about, but you can kind of see it whenever you're scrolling, especially with widgets, not so much with icons, but you can kind of see how it goes off to the side there. We'll jump back into this and then we'll change it to, I believe it's stack, yep. And once again, there's that lag thing. I don't know if that's just going into the toolbox or what, but you'll see how we got a different transition there. It's pretty cool to actually see that going back and forth between your screens. So I like to keep it on the stack though, but to each his own. Let's go back and change that before I forget. You also have different things with the page indicators, all that good stuff, and then for your drawer, you can join your widgets with apps or separate them, however you want to do that as well. So a lot of really cool customization things in there, as well as the pulse for the notification light down here. You can change duration, color, and then what was the other thing? Frequency. Okay, cool. So you can change a lot of different things in there in that regard. The battery life has been alright. I've been using Imesion's kernel. I don't even know if I'm probably butchering that, but I'll put a link in the description for that kernel. Using his latest kernel, and we'll jump into battery here. You can see that I've got about 12.5 hours of use, still at 42%. I do have the extended battery, not a lot of bulk there, but hardly tell. Screen on time, because everybody's got to see this, 1 hour and 12 minutes is what I've been working with right now. Not too bad. It gets me through the day. I'm never really having to scramble for a charger. I don't know if that's credit to the extended battery or if that's just having to do with the kernel ROM combination there. But I think 300 milliamp wouldn't improve it that drastically. So really got to give it up to the ROM and kernel at this point. So that's a lot of the pros as far as customization goes. As far as the battery life, everything seems to run really smooth. So whenever we're doing like pinch to zoom or anything like that, let's get the site pulled up here. Went ahead and loaded up the full site. So you can see just scrolling around, everything like that works really smooth, no lags in that regard. Just a couple lags whenever I'm going back to the home screen, nothing to really, be too concerned about in my opinion. Also, I love that he's actually taken from the CM9 for the dialer. So if I wanted to call Donnie, and these are fake contacts by the way, so if you try to call them, you're not going to get anybody. But I really like that, the quick dial there for the T9 dialer. That really works out pretty well. Also like having the ability to add the search button down there in the bottom, so that's really, really cool. Like I said, some of the cons, just a little bit laggy, and then changing the colors. I don't know, once again, I don't know if that's just me being dumb or if that has to do with the ROM itself. So we got the pros of being really slick and fast. We've also got full customization of a lot of different aspects of the phone that's really, really cool to use. We also have the pros being like the CM9 dialer and then different little add-in features making the ROM just be a lot smoother whenever you're actually using it your day-to-day. Definitely recommend it. I'm going to put a link in the description for an article write-up to where you can check out where to download it at. Definitely give this guy some props for the ROM that he's built. And everything else just works great. Like I said, there's a couple lags here and there. I don't know if the color changing is just me or the ROM, but those are pretty much the only cons that I have. So all in all, great ROM. I would definitely recommend checking it out. And we'll see you on the next ROM. Thanks, guys.